Hi everyone, welcome to our fourth episode of Lead Coffee Talks. I'm your host Rustam, and today's topic is psychological safety. So let's jump right into it. Hey Jethro,
Hey, man.
good to see you. Hey Jethro,
Hey.
as always, pleasure seeing you.
Rustam, my man.
Please, how are you doing today?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing good. What about you?
Yeah, also doing great, feeling good, in a good mood.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, do you feel safe having this conversation?
I only feel safe with you.
That's great. That's the feeling we're trying to give. So, Jethro, what does psychological safety mean for you in your team?
Yeah, I think psychological safety is actually the most important thing that you have inside of your team, right? We've spoken about many things like collaboration and communication and how to help people in your team and to coach certain people in your team, especially if you're a senior. But if no one's feeling safe in your team to be able to express their feelings or to ask for help, then you're kind of already hitting a brick wall before you even try any of the things that we've spoken about before. So I think it's the most important thing in a team. And I think overall, we need to address psychological safety when you're in a team.
Jethro, that was a great introduction to the topic of psychological safety. We have a couple more concrete examples with our Alpha team. I would love to hear your opinion on what you would do in those situations. Shall we jump right into it?
Absolutely. Let's dive right in.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Jethro, welcome. Good to see you at this table again.
Yeah, my favorite table.
That's great to hear, because we're going to stand here for a while. I have a couple of situations for you today. So first is Eileen is in the team, of course, and she made a mistake that cost business some money.
Yep.
So something is broken on production, and she feels horrible about this. She already has been struggling the whole weekend, coming and having this discussion with the team on Monday. You notice that half of the team feels like this is not a big deal. It's a problem for team. Other half of the team kind of thinks that it's Eileen's problem and that should not have happened. We have all the guards. So what would you do in such situation as a team lead?
Yeah, I think in the situation, I think we've all been there where we've caused a production issue, right? I think anyone who's been in the engineering world for long enough has made a mistake at some point. I truncated a production database, and that was not fun. But we were able to back it up and restore it. But at the end of the day, it was a mistake that happens, and it happens to everyone. So what's important to note in the team, first of all, is that the team is a collection of the individuals inside. So if Eileen makes a mistake, the team makes a mistake, because it's the responsibility of the team to make sure that we deliver strong, well-written software. So if something crashes, or if there's a way to be able to break production, that's already kind of something that we should look at as a how did that happen and how can we prevent that from happening again. But this is more about psychological safety, and in creating the space where people can make mistakes is a good environment to have, right? So if Eileen made a mistake, that's okay. I think the strength of a team is not around when things are going very well and the software is running well and no production issues. That's not really a good indicator of how well your team is running. For me, is when these kind of problems happen and something breaks or someone breaks something, how does your team band together to solve the problem? So for me, I would look more at how can we as a team solve this problem, and how can we make it the environment safe for Eileen to not feel so bad. If she's thinking about it over the weekend, that's not going to help her or the situation, right? At the end of the day, mistakes happen, and you can't change it. It happened, and you need to move on from that. So it's more of a mindset thing, and I think the team can encourage everyone in the team to say, hey, I made a mistake. Put your hand up. I'm sorry, guys. What can we do to fix it? And that's the kind of environment that you need to foster for your team, and everyone in the team is responsible for creating that environment. So if someone in the team is pointing fingers, I would pull them aside and say, hey, listen, we've all made mistakes before. We're only human. Let's focus on solving the problem rather than pointing fingers, because that doesn't help the situation at all.
Awesome. That's great advice. And that's exactly how my team lead behaved when I made my mistake early in my career, where I published something onto production that was not supposed to be there yet. Oops. Happens, as you said, to everyone.
Yeah.
So it's great advice indeed. It's a responsibility of the whole team. It's not about pointing fingers. It's about making sure that the problem is solved, but also maybe something to add is that it doesn't happen again. What kind of guardrails we can put as a team so that everyone makes mistakes? How can we minimize those mistakes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have things like multiple people need to approve a pull request, for instance. So maybe that could be something that could be looked at. Maybe there's a situation where they're allowing people to just push a pull request directly to production without someone else reviewing it. So sometimes you could have the 4 eyes or 6 eyes principle that could be applied. That creates quite a nice, safe environment as well. So if you do publish something that's a mistake, it's not only your fault or responsibility if it gets to production. Multiple people have had the chance to look at that. And then you're kind of also splitting the responsibility of that release throughout the team. So that's a very good way to make sure you minimize that.
Awesome, Jethro. Love the advice. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to the next one, Jethro. So the next one is concerning Dan. You already met Dan. You know that he's a junior. He just joined the team. And this is also a common thing, common behavior for people. People have an imposter syndrome, right? When they join the team with lots of experience, people have been in the company for a long time, they know the things. And Dan found himself sitting in the meetings, in the conversations, and not really understanding what's going on. There's a lot of jargon, words coming through. The seniors are pushing through the stories, and they're already kind of on this train going really fast. So Dan is feeling a bit, how to say it, not up to speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you address this? How would you help Dan?
Yeah, I think in this case, I would speak to Dan first and just say, hey, listen, I know you're new to the company, and just try and address him in a way that you're trying to just settle these feelings of feeling like the imposter syndrome, right? Everyone, I think all of us suffer from imposter syndrome at some point in our career, maybe multiple times, maybe we still suffer from it. That's definitely a thing. But it's also good to point out that everyone feels like that, right? So what often helps in these kind of situations is to say that you're feeling a certain way, but you're not alone in feeling like that. That's actually a very common thing that happens in the industry, and that'll kind of help someone realize that they're not alone in the situation, because that's what really makes people scared, right, is to feel alone. Number 2 is that if the team is going really fast in a certain direction and not helping other members get up to speed, that's something that we need to address as a team, right? Because it's the responsibility, and we spoke about this before, the roles and responsibilities of the seniors, not to just push through and leave people behind. You're only as strong as your weakest member, but I don't like to use the word weakest. I mean, you're only as strong as your least up-to-date member, let's rather call it that. And in this case, I think that the seniors can help Don get up to speed, and I would pair him with someone in the team to kind of work together, again, using collaboration to help them get up to speed, but also to learn a bit more about the way things are done, and also help with the technical jargon. And yeah, I think overall, these kind of situations happen because the psychological safety of someone inside of the team is quite low. They feel a little bit afraid, or they feel a little bit scared. So you really, really need to address that point. It's not something that you can just brush past. As with psychological safety, it needs to be inclusive, and by helping the team get Don on board, that's making it more inclusive. And that's the main point, I think, here, is to make sure that everyone in the team feels included in the conversations and not ousted or left behind. That's not a good feeling at all for anyone.
Yeah, I really like your approach. So instead of directly trying to change this and making a big deal out of it, we just acknowledge, we're being empathic to the person and saying like, hey, we all have this, we understand how you feel, that's fine, you can feel your feelings, right? But we can go through it together, and we can make sure that we are supporting each other and making it more comfortable to work in a team.
Yeah, exactly. I think with psychological safety, it's created by the team, and it's fostered by the team. It's not one person who's... I myself wouldn't be the one that's, come on guys, let's keep doing this. That's not what you want in a team, right? You want everyone to be an active member, to be mindful of other people inside of the team, to be empathetic, as you said. And that's something that you need to foster with inside of your team. Sure, as a leader, you need to be the one that kind of brings these points to the front, but you also need to be monitoring each member in your team and seeing how they're contributing to the engineering culture and psychological safety that you as a team would like.
Awesome, Jethro. I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Last question I have for today's talk with you is concerning Bram. So Bram, you know him. He's been very good software developer. He's been in the company for a long time. However, recently his progress is struggling, and the pull requests are not being closed. He's late for the meetings, and you see that something is going on. The team performance is struggling, right? So he's slowing down the team. So that issue is there. However, you learn that he has some personal tragedy at home, and you need to deal with this. You need to talk to Bram, talk with the team to get things straight. What would be your first step?
Yeah, so I think this kind of falls into work-life balance because obviously there's some things going on in Bram's life that are not helping him, and it's negatively affecting his work, which is something common. You actually see this quite. It's one of the telltale signs, as you say, is arriving late to meetings, not closing pull requests. Those are very common telltale signs that someone is feeling a little bit overworked or stressed, or not handling the amount of work that they have, and maybe there's some other factors involved in that. Yeah. So what I would do in this respect is, as I mentioned earlier, your team needs to band together in these moments, and if we need to deliver something but someone's got something else going on in their life that's preventing them from that, you need to, I would say, even as myself, I'd probably jump in and start helping Bram with the task that he has. Obviously, you need to be careful not to make him feel like he's being redundant, but you need to jump in, offer a helping hand, and show him that he's not alone. Again, not alone in the team, and he's not alone struggling with what he's struggling with. We all have personal issues, and when this kind of situation arises, that's really again the strength of the team. That's why we have teams, is so that when one member is struggling a little bit, we can jump in and help him and make sure we get that over the line. And I think what you'll find is when someone doesn't feel alone or they feel really supported inside of a team, you'll start to notice more of a positive influence on their work, and that could maybe even help their personal life.
Awesome. So get with the Bram, help him out if needed. Try to be not push, downplay his abilities. Try not to make him feel like he's not really good anymore, but more try to give the lending hand when needed, and push through it with the team, because at the end we are all a team and we need to work on this together. Yeah,
exactly. I think the current role that I have as a tech lead, and that role is I would say about 10 to 30% worth of coding. So in that week, I would speak to the project manager or whoever and say, hey, listen, I need to jump in and just help Bram with this task. I'm going to just shift my focus slightly more, maybe 40% development time this week, just to make sure we get that over the line, and just to help him out, just to show that when a team member is struggling, we can all be there for each other.
From the topics we discussed today, I made some notes, and here is the summary that I have for you. First is lead by example and share your mistakes with your team. Create a blame-free environment when everywhere can share their mistakes and failures. Use failures as opportunity for growth. Show empathy to your team members. Make people feel included, and set clear expectations and goals for every team member in your team. Is a good summary, Jethro?
Perfect. You nailed it, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Let's then grab a coffee.
Yeah,
and,
nice.
Finish this episode.
Nice. Have a good one. Yeah.
Well, Jethro, thank you very much for today. It was a great information on psychological safety. I learned a lot. I think there was plenty of useful information that we can apply directly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries, man. I think, as I mentioned at the start of the episode, it's the most important thing. So it's something that you consciously need to act upon every single day. And what's important to note, again, is that it's not the responsibility of one person inside of the team. Everyone's in charge of creating that safe environment. So it's good to not only lead the team in that respect, but also encourage other members to be a part of that culture too.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Do you know what's going to be the next episode?
No,
about?
Tell me.
Wow. It's going to be about work-life balance and celebrating the wins of the team. So something you love doing, I know, with your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looking forward to talking to you about this. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this episode, please like and subscribe. Share it with your network. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Yay.
Bye.